Yes, hi, my name is Mark, and all of those intros and stuff like that. I'm just here to tell you that the unboxing part of this video might be a little bit like, let's call it, unpolished, because when the guitar did came and we did the unboxing segment, I just honestly couldn't be bothered to set up all the tripods and stuff, so I was just like, hey, I'll just figure it out later. I'll just figure out what to do when the time comes. And since my girlfriend was around and she was wondering what was inside the box as well, because I didn't tell her, I was like, well, you can film this video for me. I'm thinking about putting it on YouTube later. She was like, oh, sure, but since she isn't, like, a professional, let's say, and the video quality, like, it might be a little bit weird, but I'll try to make it work. I'll try to hack something out of it. Even if you do go complain in the comments, like, come on. If you've watched some of my videos, you know that my videos are the complete opposite of professionalism. So yeah, I'll hack away for you guys. So yeah, let's get to the unboxing segment. You're recording already. Ah, you're recording already. So you decided you would sneak on me, even though you've been complaining about recording this whole time. How precious.
You're gonna take the advantage that I can speak right now.
Well, you can speak. You're not going to speak if you don't want to. That's the problem.
Also, what will you do about all my wobbliness? Because I'm a human, I shake. Ah,
yes. Wobbliness. Okay, good. Have you seen my videos? Come on. Yeah, it's a little bit wobbly in there. I don't think it has like much protection in there. So it can be a danger thing because I'm not sure how well everyone can see the thing, but it is a Gibson box. And for the first time ever that I'm getting a Gibson box, I'm actually getting a Gibson guitar, which is quite surprising. I wouldn't, yes, there is the headstock problem, but I wouldn't be too concerned in consideration it does still come with a case. Not only does it come with a case, but also we have the shipping thing, which was like the dude who sent it to me. He lives like a couple of hours away. So it's not like it came from the other side of the world or anything. And I also asked them to get like a little bit of memory foam or something near to the headstock area, so it could be a little bit more protected because, it's the last thing that we want to get a new guitar and then like boom boom, doom kaboom, headstock breakage. Okay, at this point, it is to be expected. What's in the box? I think you kind of know what's in the box. I think you're just worried that I got like a grandpa guitar. But no, if anything, I got a dad guitar.
Oh no.
Yeah. It's always good when you're not opening it from the right side. Yes. Professional unboxer on the making. Okay, I can see the tip. It is coming. Okay. Let's just pull one up. Is this the non-popping one? No. Okay. Now. Okay, hello there, sir. Come on. No, it doesn't want to come out. There we go. Okay, so the case is slightly beat up. These handles have seen some work, and the case itself has seen some brandishing, let's call it that, all over it. But when I talked to the buyer, yeah, the handle is broken and it has like the zipper plastic pouch thing. But I guess it will work, because to be honest, I've been looking for this model for years. I think I might have mentioned it on the channel before. But it has become surprisingly harder to find since it's been discontinued, and it's been getting more and more expensive. And not only that, but also with the whole COVID thing, oh, we can't talk about COVID because YouTube will demonetize us. Well, fuck that YouTube, because I do not have my account monetizable yet, so but yeah, I was looking for this model for a while now, and it comes with a gig bag, those flimsy, not the deluxe leather precious gig bags that Gibson provides, with the old school crappy black gig bags that don't do for anything. So when I found this one at a reasonable price, with a case, and I mean a reasonable price for before COVID prices, not for after COVID prices. Here in Portugal, where I wouldn't have to pay any like major shipping or anything, I was like, well, I'm kind of broke, but I will get my hands on that. Because I'm looking for this guitar for like 3-4 years. So, oh yes. And headstock breakage, I don't feel headstock breakages, I like it. Now, I would guess people would like to see it, wouldn't they? Alright, then you can come closer, camera woman. Because this is also your first time seeing it, you don't know what it is, do you? You have a suspicion, but you don't know what it is. So let's go. Okay, so here it is, because I'm not completely sure how I'm going to edit all of those portions of these videos, but hey, yeah, so in a quick explanation, this is, and I have to spiel out the name, this is a Gibson SG Special 70s Tribute in a sunburst faded finish. I think that is it. So, pretty much, what makes this guitar special that it makes it unlike the other Gibson SGs? So, number one, it is a Gibson SG Special and not a Gibson SG Standard. What does that mean? Well, it means that number one, it does not have the binding on the neck, and it usually means that it doesn't have the mother pearl trapezoid inlays. In this case, it has like the little blocks, which I kind of prefer, but the little blocks are more because this is not only an SG Special, but it is a 70s tribute, so I think you can probably guess that it is a model trying to play tribute to the 70s models. And it has the 60s reflector knobs, which I really, really like. I mean, there's another version of this guitar, I think it was a high-performance model, that had the speed knobs, like cream speed knobs, and they looked hideous. And yeah, and because it is a sunburst finish, of course, and it is a faded finish, so I think you can probably figure out by what I'm trying to do with the angles here. It is not one of those super glossy finishes. In fact, if anything, it's kind of like a satin finish. And sure, that means that because they don't have to put the gloss in, they don't have to put the binding in, it makes it a more affordable model. Which, hey, when it comes to the binding, I'm a Fender player, so it's not really like I'm a, oh, we have to do the binding sort of player. And also because sometimes the glossy finishes can get quite sticky because my hands sweat a lot and I have very acid sweat, so it can get a little bit sticky. So this satin finish really works well. But hey, if anything, the real thing about it is that because it is a satin finish and doesn't have all the gloss and it is a cheaper model, you can see a little bit of like the wood grain, you can see like a little bit of imperfections and stuff like that, like where they glued the wings into the headstock. Like you can see that where the glue line is. It's not a headstock break, it's just, it is what it is. But honestly, like aesthetically, I really like it. Like, obviously, a red SG is just a classic, right? And if you think about like a black SG custom, like that's just classy, like a tuxedo. But when it came to like getting a red SG or something like that, I was always like, I'm not sure. Like, it's not exactly my thing. It's not like it's ugly or I don't like it. It's not my thing. But when I saw this, I think this model came out in 2014. I was like, now that is cool. And that is cool because like the sunburst finish and the cream stuff, it kind of reminded me of a Fender thing, but not really a Fender thing. This doesn't feel like a Fender guitar. But we'll get to that later. And another thing that's cool about this model, even though it is a less expensive model, again, I mentioned that it does the blocks and not the dots, because if you've seen my channel, I hate dot markings on fretboards, like the Fender dots like in the middle of the fretboard, and I hate them. It's not for me, I don't feel like it at all. And the blocks here, I think they look very, very cool. I even think they look better than like trapezoids, so I really like it. And another thing about it is that it has mini humbuckers. It doesn't have the humbucker that an SG Standard would have, and it doesn't have the P90s that usually an SG Special usually has too. So, mini humbuckers. You've probably seen mini humbuckers in both Firebirds and like Les Paul Deluxes and like George Benson models and L5s and stuff like that. But the mini humbuckers in the Les Paul Deluxes and in Firebirds, even though they're both called mini humbuckers, they're not the same sort of pickup. And what I mean by that is, if you think of like a Les Paul Deluxe, it has like this, the string poles, like little ferrets that you can lower and raise in the humbucker, while the mini humbuckers in the Firebird did not. They're plain, like these. From what I gather, they're supposed to be Firebirdy, but with some of the better things of the Les Paul Deluxe sort of mini humbuckers. I'm not like a pickup expert guy, but from what I gather, pretty much a Les Paul Deluxe mini humbucker is just like a humbucker but shrunken down. And when it comes to like a Firebird pickup, instead of it having like the pole pieces of the little magnets and having like the copper bobbin about it, or around it in this case, not about it, these ones are like a bar magnet. So you've probably seen like the dime bucker and like the rail hammers from Reverend. They have bar magnets. So they're a different style of pickup, and they kind of feel a little bit more single coily, the Firebird pickups. And these ones, as we'll figure out, like these ones, I really, really like them. Like they kind of fit a little bit in between a humbucker and like a single coil, especially like a Tele single coil when it comes to the bridge, because it's a little bit hotter than a regular single coil, like a Strat single coil. And sure, you can put P90s on that realm as well, but for me, a P90 is pretty much like a single coil, like, and because it is a single coil, but it sounds and feels like a single coil, like a Tele single coil, but more beefy, without the like super trebly high end. Sometimes the bottom end is a little bit more mushy, but that's what it feels like. It feels like a different take on the single coil. Well, this feels like something in between a single coil and a humbucker. But I'll give you a demo later so you can really check it out. So, as I said in the unboxing video, there are some modifications I did to this guitar already, so I got locking tuners in it, which you can check right now. Alright, so this is just going to be some quick iPhone 11 footage, because as I said in the unboxing video, I hate these like green Clues-on style, Clues-on vintage style tuners. Yeah, sure, they're more traditional and they're more accurately spec'd, but I don't like them too much, and they're also not locking tuners. And as some of you guys who have watched my videos before, I really need locking tuners on my guitars. Like, for someone like me who changes strings very often and all of that, like, strings are important to be quickly changed. So, I got, and this is why I'm showing you guys, because it's not like it's too much of a big deal, but I already installed one because my girlfriend was here and she wanted to try and put one on. So, me being a gentleman, I allowed her to. And yes, my girlfriend wants to change long tuners on my guitar. Isn't she lovely? Isn't she lovely? But yeah, I got these Graph-Tac ratio tuners, and the reason I got these, and if I can show you, is because they have these adapter plates, and I know Hipshot I think, also have some with adapter plates, but I couldn't find any at Tillman, so I got these, and the good thing about these, that because of the adapter plates, I don't have to do any, like, additional string changes or anything like that, and for me, that's very amazing. So, I'm just gonna show you guys, like, the process of changing one, so you guys can see, like, how quick all of this is. I'm going to do the fifth one here, because I've done the sixth one, I can do the fifth one. And just so you guys know, like, this set of locking tuners, it comes in such a posh little box. Like, I'm not sure if you guys can see it, but this is like that see-through plastic. It kind of looks like a crystal box looking thing. It's so posh, and it's a heavy box. Like, the locking tuners, they're not too heavy themselves. The good thing about ratio tuners is that they feel the same, or they're supposed to feel the same from one string to the other. And yeah, here are all the plates, all the adaptive plates. Is this in focus? I hope it is. And they have like adaptive plates for all sorts of different tuners, which is amazing. You don't have to drill extra stuff. That for me is just awesome. So yeah, the thing we need to do first is, well, using this here, loosen this string. That is done. And we can also, since we're here, use our little thingy. Now, if you want to be like very precious about your guitars, you should probably like do this with some better tools or something that won't mark up your headstock. In my case, I don't care too much. Like, if it was a super expensive guitar, maybe, but in this case, I think we're fine. So we have the top part of these
Gibson style tuners. I'll put it in here so you guys can see it. Okay, now we turn it around. And some people will probably be like, oh my god, you're crushing the knobs or whatever. Well, I don't really care about it. And we just did this one, so we're just going to unscrew it right here. That's screw number 1 and screw 2. Oh, and something you should probably be careful about, because I almost got the wrong ones, is that if you have a 3x3 headstock, which is my case, you require different tuners than the ones that are on 6-in-line, so like a Fender style of headstock. Okay, and again screw, and now I get one of the little adapter plates. I need to get the Gibson style, and we put the adapter plate in here. And again, a GraphTech, they're cool, so they know that you'll probably put these the wrong way. So in this case, with this locking tuner, since it's going to be like this, what happens is that these 2 pins in here, they're going to align with the holes in the plate, right? And you are supposed to put the plate like this, and match it with the screws. Now that's what you're supposed to do, but because we're guitar players and we're messy and all, it is very likely that we're gonna get distracted and put it upside down. And this is where GraphTech, they're really cool, because obviously the measurements are not the same. If you put it upside down, like, the hole won't line up anymore, and you're gonna be like, how do I do this, sir? So yes, smart GraphTech, smart. So yes, we put the adapter plate on. That's a thing. Now we can get these 2 pieces and we put them together. I think there's a specific order, and turn the guitar upside down and we put it through the hole, as they say. What we do is that now that you have the tuner in place, it's locked in with the pins. From the other side, I'm just tightening it up a little bit, just so it won't fall. And with the little Allen wrench thingy, we tighten it up. Again, you don't want these too tight, so that it damages the finish of the headstock. But either way, I think we're probably pretty solid on here. There it is, the change of the locking tuner. Nothing too fancy, nothing too whatever, but it is a pretty cool thing, because again, sure, like some people say, I've read some comments, that if you don't like the Gibson style or whatever, like because of the use of the adapter plates that have exactly the same size, you still kind of have on the back of the headstock like a Gibson vibe, a Gibson looking vibe. Yes, I agree, they kind of look a little bit funky with like the brand new, like contemporary mechanism and design, and then these like plates, but they also offer these in different colors, which I didn't know. I could have gotten some of the black ones, which would be an extra price, so yeah, I guess it's fine. But yeah, locking tuners, ratio tuners, couldn't be happier.
And when I flipped the headstock, you probably noticed that I have one of those like little D'Addario clip-on tuners. They're very small, and I really enjoy them. I have them all on my guitars, because it's just useful if you're not plugged into anything and you want to try something else, or I feel like I tuned my guitar 300 times, it's not tuned yet. Of course, it has the groove gear thing, the fret wrap. I have it, obviously, for like the recording and the multi-finger tapping thing and stuff like that, and the legato. But it's less because of that and more because of the string ring. Because if I play something like a chord, a staccato chord, like I'm not sure how you were able to hear it or not. I'll probably boost the microphone if you need to. But we heard this. And that, when played, rings on like forever. And if we play staccato chords or trying to record, yeah, it's not really a very pleasurable experience. So I have this fret wrap in here. It just helps a lot with keeping it stable, like, it just nothing. And some people say you should do it in here as well, but, like, sure, it has a jingle bells going on, but it just went quiet after a while. So this part doesn't really affect me, and with my experience of recording other guitars with pneumatics, especially my Les Paul, this part isn't really too important. The headstock, though, it is. I was thinking of maybe, like I had this black one rolling around, I think of maybe getting like a tiger or leopard print one, kind of, I think it would match the guitar because they're kind of brownish. But yeah, another modification I thought I might do, other than the Groove Gear thing, is that I might get like a Batwing pickguard, like obviously in this cream color, because the brown plus cream thing was what excited me about this guitar. Maybe a Batwing pickguard, who knows? I think it could look cool, but because I have to drill extra holes, I'm not sure yet. And also, like, the one place I could find it was Stratosphere, and their shipping rates to Portugal are just, like, absurdly high. So, yeah, not for now. More modifications that I did is, well, I can't, like, really play without having strap locks, so I tried to update for strap locks, and things didn't really go too well.
Okay, so everything was going smoothly because I had to change the locking tuners and I was going to add strap locks. And I added this one and everything went smoothly. I was going to add the one in the bottom for the other strap. And what would happen? Nothing major, just my screw broke inside. Now, with all the respect, like, it wasn't Dunlop's fault because I wasn't using Dunlop's screw. And before you guys go and ask, why weren't you using Dunlop's screw? Well, I wasn't using the screw from Dunlop, and as you guys can see, my desk is a little bit of a mess, but we can not, and little bites, treats, sure. Here's the thing. Okay, so if you guys check it out, this was the original strap button that was on the guitar, and it has this screw in here that looks like this, so it's not completely beveled or anything, and it stays in there. This is the origin one, and this is the Dunlop strap lock button, and this is the screw it comes with. I was like, okay, well, I can just try to use this one, and that's what I did, but because it's longer than the other one, and the other one has a shaft and stays close to here, I was like, alright, that screw might be a little bit too big. I was like, okay, no big deal. I'll just use a shorter screw, like the one that came with the guitar. Now, the problem was, since the original screw has a bigger head than the Dunlop one, this screw wouldn't fit through the Dunlop strap lock. And that would be a problem because the strap has no way to lock if the screw is here on the surface. So I was like, alright, I can either cut the screw, or I can look at the assortment of strap locks from my other guitars and guitars spread around or whatever. And I found a screw. And I found a screw that would do the job. And I started tightening it. Not too tight. Again, it wasn't really a hard job. The only problem was, it broke in there. So yeah, I already called my luthier friend to try and fix it, and they're like, sure, we'll do it, no problem. But yeah, awesome. No strap-on fun for now.
Another modification I think I might do, but I'm not yet sure, is because my Les Paul came standard with the Tone Pros tailpiece and bridge, so they lock down. So when you take out the strings, they don't fall. Now, because my Les Paul was my first actual guitar with this sort of configuration for a bridge, like, it didn't really make any difference to me, because I was like, oh, that's cool, it doesn't fall off. But I never experienced it falling off. And when I was changing the strings out of the SG, I loosened the strings and I was starting to take them off, and this was just like swoosh. And yes, that is a technical, scientific term, it's a swoosh. It just swooshed out of it, and I was like, ah, goddammit. So yeah, maybe if I found some like Tone Pros with discounts on them, or like someone selling it with second hand or something, I might get them. But for now, it's just a pain in the ass. But it's not something that like really affects anything. And yeah, one modification that I did, and I forgot to record it because I didn't really think it through at the time. But is that when I got to the middle positions where I'm using both mini humbuckers, and again, when I do the demo version, you'll hear it, it felt quite muddy and without clarity, and it felt quite weird, and like, it sort of sounded similar to like how my Les Paul sounds in the middle position, but it just didn't feel right. It was too muddy and too like sludgy. It wasn't really my thing. So I was like, okay, well, what do I do? Well, maybe I can change the pickups, but I was like, well, I just got this guitar, and it has these fancy pickups that are kind of like in between both mini humbuckers, so I'm not sure if I want to change them or whatever. I was like, wait, one of the middle positions that I like the most is that kind of like Peter Green out-of-phase middle position. So I was like, okay, well, I can just disassemble the neck pickup and turn the magnets around so that it will give me an out-of-phase sound. But because I wasn't using the proper tools, like I was missing an Allen key to really disassemble the pickup, and I was like, I don't have it, and now I have to wait and whatever. But I was like, wait, if I can't physically, like, turn the magnet around, I can physically turn the pickup around. So the neck pickup is now turned around, which doesn't really affect too much the neck pickup tone, but it makes it so that in the middle position with the two pickups, it's out of phase. And it sounds really, really cool. It doesn't really have that Peter Green effect completely. It's kind of like a hack job of that version, but it really sounds cool. And when we get to the demo, you'll hear it, because it really, really, really is amazing. It really made me fall even more in love with this guitar. If I want to do the funky sound, when you usually have a guitar with the middle position out of phase, usually if you roll down one of the volumes, the middle position stops being out of phase to be in phase again. With this guitar, because I didn't really get the magnet out of phase, I just flipped the pickup around. What happens is that when I'm in the middle position, if I turn the neck volume knob, you could hear that was a change in there, right? Kind of like a wah-wah. Well, what's happening is that when I turn the volume down, it's giving me a lot of the treble pickup. The tone changes slightly, but it's like comparing this, the volume of the neck pickup turned down. Treble pickup. Like, it's very, 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 very similar. And the same thing happens if I do the treble pickup. So if I roll the treble pickup down in the middle position, I'll just get more of the neck pickup. Just the neck pickup now. So it becomes a very like similar position. But to be honest, it doesn't really affect me too much, because I love sure, sometimes you do need to roll your volume down, but in a situation where I have like this crunchy sound, which is where I spend most of my time, and the bridge pickup sounds awesome. The middle position with both pickups out of phase sounds awesome. And the neck pickup sounds awesome on max as well. I think it is a win. At least, to me, I think it is a win. But yeah, other than that, any other comments that I have to make about this guitar is that if you follow Robert Baker, a couple of years ago, he had an SG special like this with mini humbuckers as well. He had a red one, I think. And he didn't really gel with it, and he ended up trading it for another guitar. And he said that the SG was too forward and he couldn't really adapt and stuff like that, which I can understand. The SG is kind of a forward guitar. But taking into consideration, I mostly got my chops around by playing on a Jackson Kelly, which has like the Fender 25.5 inch scale length, which is bigger than this. And it is like a guitar like this, which is all to this side. Playing like a little bit more forward didn't really affect me too much. What did affect me, and it wasn't like a big deal, it's just that everything is forward a little bit, so when I play for the first fret to like the 7th fret maybe, it kind of feels like playing on a Fender style guitar on the Fender scale length. The frets are pretty much on the same place and you kind of feel like the same muscle memory. But when you go over the 7th fret, like it's like everything shrinks down a little bit, and it's not a bad thing. It's just that like if I'm playing on like the 12th fret, like E minor pentatonic position, like I very much do those like Guthrie Govan bands of like you swiggle from one note to the other, like because I'm playing in here in the 12th fret, and this guitar is the 12th fret, but if I had like a Fender guitar, this 12th fret would be more around here. So playing here in this guitar means 12th fret, playing in this position, like where my arm lands, it would be more around the 12th fret. So it would be the difference between D minor and E minor, so like a semitone down. And is that a big deal? No, but for me, I kind of had a little bit of adjustment period in the first days, where I'd be playing like super high, and I would like try to bend out of the neck because it feels like there's still more frets. It feels like I'm still not in E, like I'm still sort of in D or C sharp or something. I can still go higher in these strings, but I can't. Like it's still 22 frets and it ends here, but it doesn't feel like the neck is in the same place. It isn't too much of a big deal. I think it's just like an adjustment period, and I'm now like much more comfortable with it. But I did thought that it would be something worth mentioning. Another thing I did about this is that because it has the Gibson scale length and it is like 24 3/4 inch scale length, and the Fender scale length, which is the one I'm usually more playing around with, is the 25.51. This scale being smaller, the strings usually feel a little bit more slinky. So because I use 9.5s on my Fender guitars, I thought, well, I'll just go up to 10s on this guitar. But when I got up to 10s on this guitar, it felt kind of stiff playing those 10s. And in case you don't know, even though, like, yes, it is a smaller scale length, with this bridge combination, the tailpiece and the tunematic, the angle at which the tailpiece is raised and the height of the tailpiece will actually influence the string tension. That's why you see a lot of guitar players, me including, that strung up their Les Pauls through the back. Like, they put the strings through here, they put the tailpiece super down, and they put the strings through the back, and then they wrap it around. And I kind of have my Les Paul, like, at first I tried to make it play like my Fender guitars, but then I was like, well, I kind of feel like this is a guitar I like to fight with. So I have the 10s, and the 10s kind of feel like, I don't know, maybe 10s on a Strat, but a little bit stiffer. And since I use 9.5s, the 10s on the Les Paul, like, they feel great, but it's a little bit of a thing to work with. So what I would decide to do is that, since I kind of feel like this guitar can be my number 2, because I usually take my Telly around for the gigs, even though now that there's no gigs, but they will come back, hopefully, I decided, okay, I'll just put 9.5s on this one as well. And you might think, oh, 9.5s will feel slinky on a Gibson scale length. Well, yes, but not if you adjust the tailpiece to get the tension you want. So right now, playing 9.5s, they feel pretty much like in my Fender guitars. In fact, I think it probably feels a little bit slightly more stiff, but I kind of enjoy that because it gives me like the Les Paul feeling. And it really feels great. Like, at first they were kind of stiff, like with the 10s, and I kind of was like, it's ruining my fingers, I'm not used to playing with this, like, much tension and all, but now it feels amazing, it feels great. So yeah, that is probably the modification I did that is most important to it. And again, being a Gibson guitar, it has a couple of issues. So because the SG, it's a very thin guitar, and because it's very thin, it's very light, and it's quite neck heavy, like, it will fall to that side very quickly. Because of the strap lock situation, I haven't been able to try it with a strap and standing up to see how the balance is. But sitting down, it feels fine. It doesn't feel like I have to hold the neck. It's just a little bit unbalanced. Obviously, the headstock having an inclination being tilted downwards means I have to be careful not to snap the headstock off. And if you play Gibsons, you might think that the third string, the G string, and the fourth string, the D string, that because they have such a wide open angle that they don't stay in tune too well. And usually it's not because of the tuners, usually it is because of the nut not being cut correctly, since it's quite a wide angle. And say whatever you want about Gibson, because they do have plenty of, like, quality control issues, but, like, I'm not sure if the previous owner did any like job to the nut, but it was fine. Like, even with the old Cluzon tuners, the strings wouldn't go out of tune. Like, the D string, sometimes when I'm, like, decreasing the tension, it feels a little bit like it needs to get pulled a little bit, but it's not really often, it's just sometimes. And I also put the graphite in there to lubricate the nut, so yeah, I don't think it's a big deal. But yeah, it stays in tune well, it is solid, and when I do play around with it, it feels nice. So yeah, I'm really, really enjoying this guitar. But enough of me yappering about, you probably want to hear how it sounds. So let me show you how it sounds. Tones. We're going through my Kemper. I'll be using the 2x12 there, but you're going to be listening to an IR of a Mesa 4x12 with a Shure SM57 and some other EQ added to it. The crunch sound will be like sort of a plexi going on. Now I'll do like a quick comparison where I'll just show you this guitar with the mini humbuckers, playing one lick, then playing the same lick in a Strat so you can hear the comparison to single coils, and compared to my Les Paul with humbuckers. And I think it will give you a nice idea of how these pickups differ from other pickups, and why you should, or perhaps shouldn't, get a guitar with pickups like these into your collection. So yeah, that was pretty much it. Again, I'd like to know what you guys think. Obviously not only of the guitar and the tones, but also do you have any guitar like this with mini humbuckers, whether it's these, or do you have a Firebird, or do you have a Les Paul Deluxe? What do you think of mini humbuckers? Do you like them? Do you not like them? Is there something else about this guitar that you'd like to know, or about some of the other guitars, or any other video suggestion that you'd like me to make? Again, I usually do guitar lessons, but I can do whatever videos you guys want me to do. I've been trying to get back into making YouTube videos, so it could be cool to try some new ideas. Again, I'm also going to do a new video recently where I take one of my guitars and I transform it into a baritone guitar and see where it lands. If you stayed this far and you enjoyed the video, please leave a like and a comment, and if you can, subscribe to the channel. And don't forget, like, if you are subscribed, or if you're going to subscribe now, please turn on the notifications, ring the little bell thingy. Again, you should probably be aware, but if you're not, when you subscribe to a channel, YouTube doesn't just show you that channel's videos. It goes through a whole algorithm of your personal preferences. So it might show you the video, or it might not show you the video. So if it is a video that you end up being interested in and you don't see it, what is the point of being subscribed, right? So please turn on all the notifications, ring the little bell. Go check out my social media as well. I post some exclusive stuff in there and teasers for videos and stuff like that. Hopefully all stuff that you might be interested in, so please go check it out. And as always, I can't really thank you guys enough for all the support you guys have been giving me, for checking out the videos and leaving comments. And yeah, I hope I see you in another video. Cheers!